sarvadurgani
Marchita sarvadurgani
mat prasadat tarishyasi
mat prasadat tarishyasi
atachitvam ahankaram
atachitvam ahankaram
nashvasyasi vinankshyasi
nasosyasi vinansyasi
Majjita sarvadurgani
Marchita sarvadurgani
mat prasadat tarishyasi
mat prasadat tarishyasi
atachitvam ahankaram
atachitvam ahankaram
nashvasyasi vinankshyasi
nasosyasi vinansyasi
Majjita sarvadurgani
Marchita sarvadurgani
mat prasadat tarishyasi
mat prasadat tarishyasi
atachitvam ahankaram
atachitvam ahankaram
nashvasyasi vinankshyasi.
nasosyasi vinansyasi
The word for word, mat
mat
of me,
of me
chittaha
chittaha
being in consciousness,
being in consciousness
sarva
sarva
all,
all
durgani
durgani
impediments,
impediments
mat prasadat
mat prasadat
by my mercy,
by my mercy
tarisyashi
tarishyasi
you will overcome,
you will overcome
ata
Ata
but chet
Chet
if
if
tvam
Tvam
you
You
ahankara
Ahankara
by false ego
by false ego
nashvasyasi
nasosyasi
do not hear
do not hear
vinankshyasi
vinansyasi
you will be lost.
you will be lost.
Translation and purport by His Divine Grace C.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki. Translation. If you become conscious of me, you will pass over all the obstacles of conditioned life by my grace. If, however, you do not work in such consciousness, but act through false ego, not hearing me, you will be lost. Purport. A person in full Krishna consciousness is not unduly anxious about executing the duties of his existence. The foolish cannot understand this great freedom from all anxiety. For one who acts in Krishna consciousness, Lord Krishna becomes the most intimate friend. He always looks after his friend's comfort, and he gives himself to his friend who is so devotedly engaged working 24 hours a day to please the Lord. Therefore, no one should be carried away by the false ego of the bodily concept of life. One should not falsely think himself independent of the laws of material nature or free to act. He is already under strict material laws. But as soon as he acts in Krishna consciousness, he is liberated, free from the material complexities. One should note very carefully that one who is not active in Krishna consciousness is losing himself in the material whirlpool, in the ocean of birth and death. No conditioned soul actually knows what is to be done and what is not to be done. But a person who acts in Krishna consciousness is free to act because everything is prompted by Krishna from within and confirmed by the spiritual master. End of purport. Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Shri Chaitanya Manovistam Sthavitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamaya Dadati Swapadantikam Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanabhyo Vaishnavabhyo Namo Namaha Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Can you put this screen up? It's on my head in the back. Srila Prabhupada uses the words Krishna consciousness several times in the purport. And the word Krishna consciousness comes from the first words Mat Chitta. So Mat means of me, which is Krishna speaking in the first person, the Bhagavad Gita. And Chitta means in consciousness. So Srila Prabhupada took these words, Mat Chitta, and from various other places in terms of references. And he gave us the unique words Krishna consciousness. Nobody else has given us these words. Nobody else. Krishna consciousness. So when one disciple asked Srila Prabhupada, how did you coin this? Krishna consciousness. So Srila Prabhupada said, I was prompted by some of my early disciples in New York City when I wanted to register a society. Then Srila Prabhupada recounted that he wanted to begin a society when he was a Vanaprastha. late 50s, when he formed the League of Devotees in Jhansi. And Srila Prabhupada said, I tried everything to start a society, but it didn't work. So eventually the wife of another leading influential man from the Lions Club in Jhansi wanted that property. So he couldn't get further in establishing the League of Devotees. So when Srila Prabhupada came to New York City in 1965, he suffered like anything for 1 year. Of course, prior to that he suffered great stress and anxiety and inconvenience with 2 heart attacks on the Jalandhara. In other words, no Acharya went through such suffering. No Acharya went through such suffering to give the suffering conditioned souls the panacea or the relief of coming to Krishna consciousness. Still he suffered even more from 1965 August until 1966 August for 1 year. So when some interested persons came forward to hear his message, then he felt that he needed to form a society. So the society in English basically means the Sanskrit word Sangha. Like you belong to a society, you're a member of a society for association, for Sangha. So because most of the early devotees who came to him, they came mainly from not in the Vedic culture. They came mainly from, you could say, Christian background, Jewish backgrounds, and so forth. So they didn't know who was God, but they hear the name called God. But Srila Prabhupada rectified that and he said that God is a position. It's not a name. See? So some of his early disciples, including one of the lawyers who was drawing up the constitution to form a society, he also strongly recommended that you should call your society International Society for God Consciousness. And Srila Prabhupada, without hesitation, he said no. He said they should know who is God. See? And therefore Srila Prabhupada said International Society for Krishna Consciousness. It's a very unique, most unique Krishna consciousness. So another time when Srila Prabhupada was giving a lecture on Radhastami, and he mentioned that if Srimati Radharani feels that Radharani wants you to come to Krishna, and Srila Prabhupada said, even if you are rascal number 1, if Radharani wants you to come to Krishna, Krishna will humbly accept the request or the submission of after the talk, Srila Prabhupada was in great ecstasy for some reason, more than usual, because he normally doesn't expose his inner feelings. So one of his assistants, either the secretary or the servant, he said, Srila Prabhupada, you are very blissful today. And Prabhupada said, why not? It's Radha Astami. So Srila Prabhupada was very careful in how to present Krishna consciousness. So it becomes suitable without any compromise on how Krishna presents himself in Bhagavad Gita and presents himself and his devotees in Srimad Bhagavatam, and also presents himself as the combined form of Radharani as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So the word Krishna consciousness is not used by anyone else. It's used exclusively in relation to members of the Krishna consciousness movement. See? And when Prabhupada says the members of the Krishna consciousness movement, he indicates in the International Society for Krishna Consciousness. So in the privacy of a few disciples after the Radha-Astami election, and they saw that Srila Prabhupada was quite blissful. He was like in a jolly mood, very happy and so forth. So when one disciple sort of probed him, "You're very happy." So Prabhupada said, "Yes," and I repeat again, "Why not? It's Radha-Astami." And Srila Prabhupada said that the word consciousness comes from Srimati Radharani. So in general, Mat-Chittaha means, Mat means me, which is Krishna. Chittaha means consciousness of me, consciousness of Krishna. So Krishna is not conscious of himself. That's a material consciousness. In other words, if you're conscious of yourself, and you're conscious of yourself that others must be conscious of you, that is materialistic. So therefore the word ahankara is used here, which is called false ego. See? However, Krishna takes the pride from a spiritual perspective and says that you have to be conscious of me so that you can cross over the ocean of material existence and be relieved of your suffering. But we should know that Krishna is not conscious of himself. He wants you to be conscious of him, Krishna. But at the same time, in a very intimate way, Srila Prabhupada said, the personality who is conscious of Krishna is Srimati Radharani. Because Krishna is not conscious of himself. So, in a sense, he didn't say this in 1966 when he formed the International Society for Krishna Consciousness, registering it as a formal society legally and so forth. But in a sense, internally, the person who is conscious of Krishna, who is the topmost servitor of Krishna, is Radharani. So Srila Prabhupada named the International Society for Krishna Consciousness after Srimati Radharani, internally. Very unique. Very unique. Internally. Krishna is not having any false ego. Krishna's real ego is that he is conscious of Srimati Radharani. And Radharani's real ego is that Radharani is conscious of not Krishna. Radharani is only conscious of giving pleasure to Krishna, of serving Krishna. There's a difference. You may be very attached to somebody and you are conscious of them. But Radharani is not like that. Because if you're attached to somebody, you expect them to serve you and please you. But Radharani's consciousness of Krishna is not conscious of Krishna. She's conscious of serving Krishna. That is Krishna consciousness in its active behavioral state. So let's connect this further. Obviously Srila Prabhupada has descended from Goloka Vrindavan. That's pretty clear, without any doubt. And entering into the discipline succession, which is normal, just as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu accepted Ishvara Puri as his spiritual master. So when Srila Prabhupada was very young, and Srila Prabhupada also dedicates the Krishna book first to his father and to my father, Gaur Mohan Dey, and then to my eternal father, Srila Bhaktisarada Saraswati Thakur. So Srila Prabhupada used to say that when he was very young as a boy, many sadhus used to be entertained every day by Gaur Mohan Dey, the father of Abhay that time. Abhay. Srila Prabhupada is Abhay. So Srila Prabhupada used to say at least minimum 4 sadhus used to come every day to his home and he used to feed them. And practically every day in his humility, Gaur Mohan Dey used to ask each of the sadhus, will you please bless my boy that he becomes a very intimate servant of Srimati Radharani. Not Krishna. Will you please bless this boy? And later on Srila Prabhupada recollected that by the blessings and by the earnest and eager appeal of my father, who was Vaishnava from birth also, I became what I am in relation to conscious Srimati Radharani in relation to Krishna. It's a very important aspect in our international society for Krishna consciousness. And then as the International Society of Krishna Consciousness developed all over the world, and Srila Prabhupada himself said, I tried for 43 years, from 1922, when he first received the order from Srila Bhaktisarada Saraswati Thakur, to 1965. That's 43 years. And then Srila Prabhupada said that it took me very long to actually, in one sense, have a preparatory consciousness. Although he is a Nitya Siddha, but still in terms of the pastime to help us, that we have to prepare our consciousness also. So in the mid-70s, when Hare Krishna became a household name, also a word. And Srila Prabhupada was well known all over the world. Like that. So one disciple of Srila Prabhupada, it took you very long to come here. Shri Jagannath Balaji Sumati Maharani ki, Shri Gaurnitai ki, Shri Radha Gokulananda ki. And Srila Prabhupada said, yes, it took me 43 years. But this is in 1975 from 1966. But in an expanse of 9 years, and he struggled for 43 years before in Bharat Bhumi, Krishna consciousness developed. So then, one disciple asked Srila Prabhupada, why didn't you come earlier? What took you so long? We received these instructions from Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur in 1982, but it took you very long to come. Then Srila Prabhupada bowed his head down in humility, and he said, the spiritual master's instruction may be suspended, but never ever neglected. See? In other words, he tried his best. Despite so many obstacles in Bharat Bhumi itself for 43 years. I won't get into the details of these obstacles, but many obstacles. Right from the caste brahmanas to the politicians, so many obstacles in that. And then Srila Prabhupada said, I realized that I tried to form the League of Devotees. But that was my effort. But it was not sanctioned by higher arrangement by Krishna. So therefore Krishna gave me a better proposition and I formed Krishna Consciousness, International Society for Krishna Consciousness. Yeah. Then Srila Prabhupada said another time that I was a hopeless failure in Bharat Bhumi. I tried for 43 years. It was hopeless and I failed. So the only thing that I succeeded in when I was there for the 43 years is that I started translating Srimad Bhagavatam. And that time the first canto was in 3 volumes, and he took that with him when he on the Jaladuta to New York City. Then Srila Prabhupada humbly said that my spiritual master Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he said, very advanced souls who are far advanced than me in all respects. He sent them to Germany, he sent them to London, and so forth, like that. He said, but they all came back without much result. Then Srila Prabhupada said that, I thought I will not go to Europe and I will not go to England because my godbrothers went there before on the order of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. And he said, then I thought, let me go to a new city, a new leading city. And he said, that's when I thought I should go to New York City. And then Srila Prabhupada said that, and if I go to New York City and I fail, and then he said, at least I can tell everyone I failed in a new place. I failed in a new place. But Srila Prabhupada never failed. Never failed. At least that much is there. I won't fail in a new place. So, in This is maybe sometime now, 1976, which is about 10 years after the Krishna consciousness was spread all over. So in Caracas and Venezuela, one apprehension and hesitance. Srila Prabhupada put his head down and he said one word. And he said, yes. Srila Prabhupada ki Ananta Gauri Vaishnava Vandi ki. So now we'll take some comments or questions from all of you. It's my last association with all of you, wonderful devotees. I'm leaving tomorrow. So I've been here for almost 2 months, which includes Bali in Indonesia. You feel free, you can ask any question you like, not necessarily on what I spoke about. Tours with the devotees?
Yes, Maharaj.
I have to get your name.
Marichi Das.
Marichi.
Marichi Das, Maharaj.
Not Maricha. That's Ravana's associate. You are the great sage, Marichi. Okay, Marichi, go ahead.
Hare Krishna, Maharaj. In this verse, in our life we have many obstacles. And sometimes we pass the obstacles, sometimes the obstacle remains, but in this verse says what is Krishna consciousness, we will pass all the obstacles, we will overcome all the obstacles. I think I have to read the verse again, whether it includes the material obstacles as well. What that means actually?
I'll read the translation. If you become conscious of me, that is Krishna, you will pass over all the obstacles of conditioned life by my grace. If, however, you do not work in such consciousness but act through false ego, not daring me, you will be lost. Srila Prabhupada tells us as soon as one acts in Krishna consciousness, one is liberated, free from the material complexities. So now what's your question again?
What is the meaning of that we pass the obstacles of material life? What that means? Which kind of obstacles it refers to?
See, there are 2 ways of looking at obstacles. One is that in a gross sense of explanation, that you want to go forward, but there's obstacles in your way. You understand? Yeah. So if there's an obstacle in your way and you want to go forward, then you can jump over it. You get it? But nobody has placed the obstacle in your way. Are you following? When you come to the material world with material consciousness, it is naturally there that there will be obstacles. See? It's not that you are telling somebody, place obstacles on my way back home, back to Golo. You're not telling people that. But there are obstacles in the material world, which is the nature of the material world. See? And the sum total of all these obstacles culminates in what is called ahankara, or false ego. And that false ego indicates that nobody placed an obstacle in your way. You created your own obstacle to be placed there to go cross over by your false ego. So that's the second subtle understanding. See? We okay? Yeah. But just to give you another example, are you married? Is your Dharampatni here? Where is she? Mama, what's her name? Chintamani. We okay so far? Now, how many years have you been a brahmachari before you married Chintamani Devidasi? 10 years as a brahmachari. So, did somebody tell you to place the obstacle of a wife in front of you? Give me microphone. Did somebody tell you that, or was it your desire?
Question is, can you repeat this?
Did somebody tell you to get married, or you wanted to get married?
It was my own desire.
Your own desire. But sometimes, if somebody tells you to get married, it is your desire, but you don't stay it's your desire and you blame somebody else. You got me married. That's not good. Right. So Mother Chintamani is your duly wedded Dharampatni. Good wife. Got it? Now, before marriage, you felt that this will help you to progress in spiritual life, to enter into marriage. Yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, what realizations you have now about entering into marriage on your path back home, back to Gola? Now you say.
I have a wonderful realization, brothers. He had helped me a lot.
Who?
I said in my marriage life, and my wife had helped me a lot on my path back to God. Hallelujah.
Good. Now be very honest. You ready? You are being nice in public. Did you ever have some realization that it would be better if I didn't marry? Yes or no?
I don't remember, brothers.
You naughty. Chintamani. Chintamani, put your two index fingers in your ears. Put like that. She's not listening. Come on, be honest. Chintamani, tight. Come on.
No, brothers, I can't remember that. No regrets.
See, your top quota is almost my color. I'm halfway there. So it's important that in Krishna consciousness that we can create our own obstacles that we have to cross over to purify ourselves. There's nothing wrong with the obstacle of a wife. You understand? But you created an obstacle to make spiritual progress. Therefore, this brahmachari, grihastha, then vanaprastha, then sannyasa. See? So my point is to your question is that nobody puts obstacles in our way. The false ego will make you feel, oh, he's an obstacle on my path. See? Whether it's wife, children, husband, ashram, that's are not obstacles. You put obstacles on your own path that you want to cross over. Then you become free from false ego. Because there's no blame game. There's no blame game. I mean, we easily know, most of you are in the grihastha ashram, or some of you are towards vanaprastha like that. You easily know that when the mother of your children comes to the temple and she sees that and she goes, where is he? Where is he? You know, the children are already in the car, we have to go home. You know, he got the car keys now, so he has to drive. I put the children in the car, now I have to look for him. And he goes around the temple campus and she says, he's in the kitchen. And what is he doing in the kitchen? He's on his all fours and he's scrubbing the floor. She's thinking, at home he doesn't enter the kitchen. Yeah, he's scrubbing the floor. Even after he orders prasadam, I have to go to the table and take the plate and take it to the kitchen. He won't even bring his own plate. See? Because when he came to the temple, he left his upadhis in the car and at home. He's not a husband and a father. You getting it? Yeah. But the wife and the children are not the obstacle. See? Your consciousness that has created that is an obstacle, which you eventually have to become detached from to go back home. See? So we cannot tell that, I'm having a problem with this management. They're always in my way, and now I can't change my house. It's as if that when you are hungry, the management will eat for you. Not true, right? So how can you blame somebody else as an obstacle in your way for you to not change your japa? Doesn't make sense. See? So there's no blame game. You should not feel that there's obstacles outside of you. All the obstacles are created inside of you as external situation which you have to overcome. But there's no blame game. Marichi Prabhu, is that okay? Chintamani Mataji, is that okay? Now, after this class, you don't fight with him, maybe fight at home. You can tell him, you in my way, I want to chant japa, you want me to clean the house. Chintamani, okay? Next question. Yes, microphone next to you.
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Hare Krishna.
So my question is like, there was one time Srila Prabhupada delivered a Srimad Bhagavatam lecture, delivering on the topic of Prahlad Maharaj, So he was saying that when Prahlad Maharaj was offered the benediction from the Lord, he was asked that if he wanted any benediction, but then because he was serving the Supreme Lord, he was like, I didn't want any benediction, but then he had only one question. He asked that whether my father will be liberated or not. Then the question was answered by the Lord saying, yes, your father will be liberated, including the 14 generations, 7 up and 7 down. So my question is like, so even if one does not practice Krishna consciousness in his life, and then how will he be able to remember the Lord at the time of death? And then will still he be able to go back home back to Godhead?
Wait, you quoted Prahlad Maharaj, but then you're asking a separate question.
No, it was one from Prabhupada's lectures, Srimad Bhagavatam lectures. He was giving class on this topic from Canto 3.
So, I have to hear the whole lecture in context to respond to you from Prabhupada. That will be better for me. But your second part of your question, could you repeat that?
So the Lord said that Prahlad Maharaj, Hiranyakashipu will be liberated.
No, that's clear. That's what you quoted. That's clear. That's fine. So I need to know from you that last part of your question. Repeat that.
So even if one does not practice his Krishna consciousness in this life, how will he be able to? Because it said that only if we are able to remember the Lord at the time of our death, we will be able to go back home back to Godhead. So how will he be able to remember the Lord and then go back home back to Godhead? Because he does not practice his Krishna consciousness.
My point is that you are asking a question that's unrelated to Prahlad Maharaj's situation. But I have to relate it for you from Prabhupada. Okay? So the answer is here in chapter 1, text 41, observing the armies. Okay? And then I'll tell you something else to separate the question from the anecdote from Prabhupada, including from the Shastra, which is Prahlad Maharaj. Okay? So here in text 41, it says, Sankaro narakayaiva kula jnanam kulasya patanti pitarohi esham lupta pindodaka kriya. So Arjuna is giving reasons not to fight from the Dharma Shastras, and he says, an increase of unwanted population certainly causes hellish life, both for the family and for those who destroy the family tradition. The ancestors of such corrupt families fall down because the performances for offering them food and water are entirely stopped. Okay? Now I'm reading some part of the purport. Thus, when remnants of prasadam, means food offered to Vishnu, when remnants of prasadam food are offered to the forefathers by descendants, the forefathers are released from ghostly or other kinds of miserable life. Such help rendered to forefathers is a family tradition, and those who are not in devotional life are required to perform such rituals. That means if you are not practicing Krishna consciousness, a regular, religious people. Okay? Then Prabhupada says, one who is engaged in the devotional life is not required to perform such actions. We don't have to do any ritualistic ceremonies from karma kanda section of the Vedas for the forefathers. Now, Prabhupada says this. And only Prabhupada says such things. Now watch. Simply by performing devotional service, one can deliver hundreds and thousands of forefathers from all kinds of miseries. He's Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivinoda Swami Prabhupada is beyond Shastric injunctions. Why would Srila Prabhupada say you can deliver not only 14 generations or 21 generations, you can deliver how many? Hundreds and thousands of forefathers. And what is the proof? When Srila Prabhupada entered the Bowery, Lower Manhattan in New York in 1965, was anyone related to him from the family? Nobody. But then he made them related to him in giving them Krishna consciousness. See, he made them related to him. And how hundreds and thousands of forefathers? How many rounds of japa you chant daily? 16, right? So if you go back home, back to Golok, like that, you understand? Yeah. Even forefathers from your side, you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Which you can't even remember, they will be delivered. And even forefathers to come when you get married, and then you still go back. Your children's 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 children. Hundreds and thousands. This is the magnanimity or the compassionate nature of just one person becoming a devotee. And even if the others are not devotees yet who are connected to you, to become forefathers in the future and past forefathers, they will eventually be connected to Krishna consciousness and perfect their life and become liberated. Says Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada's life is bewildering to Shastra itself. To scripture itself. No such acharya has come to this world. So now I'll answer your question in another way. Okay? So one devotee approached Srila Prabhupada and he said, Srila Prabhupada, I'm trying everything, I'm doing my best. Srila Prabhupada said, what do you mean you're doing your best? And he said, no, Srila Prabhupada, I follow the 4 regulative principles. I chant minimum 16 rounds of japa because we have morning program, we stay at temple and I chant all my japa in the morning. Then I go out on book distribution. Right? Then I come back and I attend evening aarti. Gaura Aarti. Then I attend Bhagavad Gita class. Okay? I'm doing everything like this for the last 6 years. Srila Prabhupada. But what if I do not remember Krishna at the time of death? And Srila Prabhupada said, remember Krishna at the time of death? He said, yes. Then he quoted, Srila Prabhupada, you said in Bhagavad Gita in your translation, and Krishna directly saying, Yam Yam Vapi Smaram Bhava. You remember me? Then you come to me. Krishna is saying so many verses. So then Srila Prabhupada asked, said, what did I tell you to do? And he repeated, follow the 4 principles, stand minimum 16 rounds japa, do some practical service during the day, including book distribution, make others Krishna conscious, only Krishna Prasada, like that, and do not offend the devotees. He says, then Srila Prabhupada said, you simply follow that. Still, devotees, but Prabhupada, I may not remember Krishna at the time of death. Srila Prabhupada laid it straight. He said, where in my instructions and my letters I asked you to remember Krishna at the time of death? But he said, Srila Prabhupada, Krishna is saying. He said, Krishna may say, but I didn't tell you. And you read Prabhupada's letters. I simply told you to follow the four regulative principles. You chant minimum 16 rounds daily, only honor Krishna Prasad, and do some practical service, especially in making others Krishna conscious. Spread the vision. I didn't say anywhere that you have to remember Krishna at the time of death. And the disciples said, but Srila Prabhupada, it's clear that we have to remember Krishna at the time of death. What if I don't remember Krishna at the time of leaving this body? And Srila Prabhupada replied, that is my responsibility, not yours. All you have to do is simply follow what I taught you. Okay? So how many more minutes? Any other question or comment? Any other questions or comments? Shanti Rupa, Mata, you have something to say? Tell him to ask you in Tamil.
Thank you very much for the wonderful class, Maharaj.
What was wonderful about the class?
Everything, Maharaj. Especially the answers to the questions.
Yes, I have said this before. One devotee said, Maharaj, have your own YouTube channel. Questions and unexpected answers. I said, no, I'm not a YouTube person. Social media and me, we're not so friendly yet. Anyone else? Okay. Yeah.
Hare Krishna. Maharaj, there is one Prabhupada tell, the love to me is shown by how you cooperate each other. So how do we put this in a very practical way?
The love for you will be shown by how you cooperate with each other to keep the institution intact after I am gone. It was completed. The love for me will be shown of how you cooperate with each other to keep the institution International of Krishna Consciousness together after I am gone. You're not completing it. It's in relation to the International Society for Krishna Consciousness. So what's your question?
How do we put that in a very practical way?
Yes. Cooperation means because there is disagreement. Cooperation means there is disagreement. You'll disagree but cooperate. That means there's no relationship and faith in each other. That is the problem. See? If there's a relationship and faith in each other, then you don't need to cooperate. Prabhupada knew that there is disagreement. So therefore you have to say that. But if everyone has affectionate relationship with each other, there's no need to cooperate. He wants us to become more mature internally. And nowadays they have a modern term, mediation. You know that? Or ombudsman or whatever you call it. But those things do not exist in the Krishna conscious culture. What exists in the Krishna conscious genuine culture is affection and care and relationships, positive relationships. So there's no need for it. The Prabhupada knew that even after he leaves there may be disagreement amongst ourselves. See? So based on the disagreements that we may have, then we should now cooperate. Because you cannot sit at the same table and honor prasadam. Like, if you take your plate of prasadam, now you'll say, where should I sit? I'm not going to sit there. I don't like it. But it's all the more reason to sit with the person and honor prasadam that you don't like. So your dislike will leave you. Oh, he's such a nice devotee, we do prasad together. Although I don't like him, but I need this dislike to leave me. Cooperation is only necessary if there is disagreement. And there will be disagreement, because that's the nature of Kali Yuga. Got it? I always say, Srila Prabhupada quoted, a family that prays together stays together. Then I add, a family that eats together stays together. That's also good. So for how long you want to cooperate? You'll exhaust your potency to cooperate. But you have to change to have affectionate relationships. If you change, then only. And change can never come by position, power and politics. Change in your own heart comes by Vaishnava Seva. See? And we have to learn to serve Vaishnavas, especially in ISKCON, without any discrimination. Then you'll know you don't need to cooperate. Is this clear? Anyone else? So Ravana left you, right? Nice. Far away, yeah? He took the part of Ravana. Who is your Patni? Who is she? Hare Krishna. How are you? You came hungry today? Nice, yeah. In this question will increase your appetite.
Well, it's a beautiful, controversial topic that's going on right now.
We should respect people in their absence. We don't speak behind people's back, even if they are wrong.
If I may not mention anything, is it okay?
Yeah, but they know we're talking about the way you speak.
It's about the issue.
No, the way you speak. Okay. See, our goal is to go back to Goloka. Don't forget the goal. Don't forget the goal. There will be disagreements. Vishnu Tattva, Shakti Tattva, or Guru Tattva, or whatever Tattva. But our goal is focus, come back to Guru. So you embrace that. Whatever you have to do is focus on the goal. Go back to Guru.
Maharaj, how do we view those devotees?
No. Don't look outside of it. See, you're asking very external questions. Very? Don't worry about that. You'll only become frustrated, embarrassed, and your faults will increase. I am right, you are wrong. What is it? We don't have time for that. Life is very short, and this world is very small. So focus. Back to whatever that takes. Focus on that. And take as many of which you do. Don't waste your time. Leave that to the GBC, ABC, president. Let them, who likes to, let you just focus on it. I have taken a vow many years ago. I'm around in this country for 42 years. I've taken a vow. If I do anything that affects my japa, I'm not going to do it. See? And if I do anything that may slightly offend anyone, I'm not going to do it. See?
Thank you for the wonderful answer, Maharaj.
I didn't cut you short, but we always respect people in their absence, even if they are wrong. The principle must be followed. So therefore this internet rubbish, social media rubbish, that you're listening to somebody and you don't know whether he's following the regulated principles. You are hearing somebody speaking, you don't know whether he chants his 16 rounds for the last 3 years. So the best thing to do is, if you live with somebody and they live with you, then you know. You know Rajnikant, right? You know her? You live with him. Does he know you? But you know him, right? But there's no value in such a relationship. Isn't it? He doesn't know you exist. There's no value. And you think, my hero. What hero? There's no substance. There's no juice in that. Nothing. Same way. So don't comment on devotees that you don't know. And don't be influenced by their comments because they don't know you. It's a principle to follow. So follow those that you know closely. Oh, the sadhu. Follow them. Because you know them and they know you. That's best. The social media and internet rubbish is personality of Kali is number 1 disciple. The culture, number 1 culture. Don't embrace useless. And easily you can fall in the trap. Oh, you heard this, you heard that. Easily you can fall. Don't allow yourself. Just chant your japa in the morning, next day. Focus. Why you came to Krishna consciousness. For all this other stuff now.
Nirmesh.
Nirmesh. Nir means pure, like nirmal, without any contamination. So you got the first one right. That one is a mesh. Mess. So nirmesh means without any mess in your life. That sounds better in English. Okay, tell us.
Maharaj, we have heard this analogy of a child.
What?
There is an example given many times in Shastra by Srila Prabhupada. And we should have faith, like a child has a faith on his mother.
The child has faith in the mother. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. I mean, it's like, child may be so a child may be in any situation, but the mother is there. He has full faith on mother. My question is a child don't have any knowledge. He's so small. He don't have any knowledge, but he still has so much faith on mother. But for my case, what stops us not to have faith on Lord? We have better knowledge than a child. We have better nose, but still we don't have so much faith on Lord. So my question is what stops us not to have full faith on Lord?
Srila Prabhupada gives the analogy that when you chant your japa, sorry, some katha is going on. Naughty. Srila Prabhupada gives the analogy that when you chant japa, it's like a genuine cry of a child for its mother's presence. You got it? Okay. Are we okay so far? But I teach this course, Japa Shrine course, all over the world, and thousands of devotees have attended. But I teach it so that I may improve, mainly. So, Srila Prabhupada emphasizes that when you chant Japa, that when you chant, you simply hear. So the chanting is easy, but you have to prepare your hearing to hear. That is not so easy, to prepare to hear. Now, that isn't sadhana bhakti. Isn't? Sadhana bhakti means you have to practice chanting japa. And the main practice to chant japa is that when you chant japa, you must hear as best as you can. That's not so easy, but you try your best. We good so far? Yeah. Now, this analogy, where Srila Prabhupada says that you must chant japa in such a way that it's like a genuine cry of the child for its mother's presence. Not for its mother, for its mother's presence. This is the exact words of Srila Prabhupada. But this is higher. This is in the mature stage of chanting japa. In the formative stage of practicing chanting japa, when you chant, you must try to hear. But here, when the child is crying out for the mother's presence, who should hear the cry? The mother. So that's the mature stage of chanting japa, where you are crying out for Radha Krishna's presence. Hara and Hari. We have taken so far. Now, the same analogy you have given. Now, is there a child in the audience? Child and mother is there? Audience? There's one girl there. Stand up. One girl in the back. She's sitting on Amma. Is there a daughter and is there a mother in the audience? Or a son and a mother? No. Where? Shama. Who is Shama? Shama, stand up. Shama, Inga, Amma. Amma, stand up. Shama, who is this person next to you? Give microphone. Who is this person next to you?
My mother.
Mother. Yeah. Now, call for your mother. That's it. Call, scream, Mama. Say.
Ma. Ma.
That's not so thing. Ma. Can you say, Mama? Some feeling there. Come on, quickly. Mama, you don't worry about the microphone. She's got the microphone. Come on, do it.
Into the mic.
Yeah.
Ma.
See, it's a genuine cry of the child for its mother's presence. Mama. You know, desperate. You know, helpless. You got it? Shama,
Yes, mother.
who's the person next to you, sir? Yes,
My mother.
your Amma, right?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Oh,
Are you sure?
yes.
Who told you that your Amma?
Oh, my birth certificate. Sorry, Manoj.
You missed this one.
Sorry, Manoj.
No, you didn't do it. You have any doubt this is your mother or not?
No.
No doubt, right?
No.
Now you see, the relationship is already established. That is the mature stage of chanting japa. The relationship is already established. She has no doubt that that's her mother. See? But when you are chanting japa in the formative beginning sadhaka stage, your relationship with Radha Krishna is not yet established. Therefore you have to try to hear. So Shama has no doubt that's her mother. But if she questions, are you my mother? What? That means you're trying to hear. You understand? So that's how you have a relationship with Radha Krishna. It's very deep, very intimate, and very personal. It's not for show. It's not for advertisement. It's not for reason. Not for argument. Not for logic. Not for debate. And not for philosophy or understanding. Love for Radha Krishna is beyond philosophy, beyond Gyan. See? So therefore we can come back to the consciousness of an innocent child. And then you can genuinely cry out for the mother to hear. So the two features there. Shama, you did very good. Let's stand for Shama and Amma.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama.
Okay, that you do. Give microphone, please.
Thank you, Maharaj. Hare Krishna, Maharaj. Maharaj, regarding the verse 930, Apichitsu Duracharo Vajati Mam Ananyabha Sadhu Eva Samantavya Samya Vyavasito Hisa. So this verse,
Can you say the translation of the verse?
even if one commits the most abominable actions,
Yes.
if he is engaged in devotional service, he is to be considered saintly because he is properly situated. I don't understand how to explain this verse to some devotees or to-be devotees when they ask me. Like in the prison, for instance, they ask, will God forgive me for what I did? So then this verse comes to my mind, and I'm not sure because sometimes I hear about this accidental fall down, not accidental fall down, intentional. So how do I explain this to someone like that about this? How do we apply it, Maharaj? Thank you.
Some child is hungry. Put something in the mouth. Okay. So, it's two perspectives. One is that when you personally fall down, you have to get support to get up. Now that is easy. See? So mostly you have to apply that perspective from this verse. See? But when you see somebody else falling down, but they have practiced Krishna consciousness, then you have to fall further than them, not by falling down and lift them up. In other words, in order to lift somebody up, you have to go below them, beneath them, and now you come up again. I'm using like a physical distance, but it's not physical. Have I answered your question in a simple way or not?
Yes, Maharaj.
Yes. Now, next. Say, for example, Bhakti Priya Bhagavat Swami, he fell down after 40 years of being in Krishna consciousness. I'll give you my own example. And Rasaparayana Prabhu knows me very well. Beginning of it. Yeah. But because he knows me well, and because I also helped him in his Krishna consciousness, now I have problem. So he definitely come to me and help me based on the relationship. He's practicing nicely, but I am not. I have fallen down. So he'll go down and lift me up. Got it? Okay so far? Now, the same Rasaparayana Prabhu is preaching to new people in the prison or wherever. Now those new people are not following the regular principle. That means they are already in a fallen situation. So if one new person is smoking 30 cigarettes a day, and Rasaparayana asked him after a few months, how many cigarettes you smoking? I said, no, I've reduced to 10. Oh, you're making progress. But he's still smoking.
Yes.
So Rasaparayana Prabhu is not seeing whether he has given up completely smoking cigarettes. He's seeing how he is making progress by smoking less cigarettes. He's appreciating that. See? He's not finding fault. Oh, you are smoking 30 cigarettes one and now you're smoking 10 a day. Well, what is wrong with you? He's not finding fault. He's saying, oh, that's progress. That is progress. So when a devotee falls from the practices, you must apply the same consciousness. Okay, now he's breaking free of the principles. Now when you see him again and you lift him up, say, when last you ate Krishna Prasad? Well, last week I ate 3 times, the rest I was eating outside. Oh, you're making progress. You're not telling, no, one time you only honored Krishna Prasad, you was a brahmachari in the temple. Why did you come to the state? Not like that. Just as you treat a new person who's making progress, you treat the devotee back like that to make progress again. Clear?
Thank you, Maharaj.
So, can we wind up? Is there anything more?
That's okay.
Good. So, remember one thing. Okay, maybe I should do this in a drama. Last small drama.
Yeah, man.
We can increase the appetite.
Yes, sir.
Okay, come. He's a drama man. Don't worry, you're not facing your back to the deities. It's part of coming closer to the deity. Stand there. Who is another drama person? Pick your transcendental victim. Pick it.
He was Ram.
Who?
He was Ram. The guy with the glasses.
The devotee with the glass.
Yeah.
Come here. Okay, everyone, just continue to chant together Hare Krishna, the whole Maha Mantra, because I want to prepare this short drama in 1 minute. Everyone, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Okay, drama time. Okay. You know what to do? Come play with your friends. No, you don't need to hear anything. Action speaks louder than words. You don't know. Prabhu, you don't know how to Prabhu, don't smile and fall. and fall hard. No, fall hard. Go get up again. Yeah, don't smile. You're having problems, you know. Don't smile at me. Be still. Hey, get up, say, get up.
Get up.
Get him up. The second time you fall so quickly, you know. Get him up. Hare, this fellow don't listen, you know.
Stay.
What you said? What you told him? Give him microphone. You like this, you know? And yet this fellow is, you know, down there. You like that, you know? Let him stay now down. Let him be falling back. I can't help him anymore. For a time I try. You say like that.
So the world changed. Just stay.
Who's helping who? You can answer. Who is helping who? Tiaga Chaitanya Prabhu, give him microphone. He is our wise person, one of our senior most devotees in the earth for almost 50 years with us. you know their names?
Yes, Maharaj.
What are their names?
One is Madhusudan Prabhu and the other is Yudhishthira Prabhu.
Yudhishthira.
Yes.
Now, who is helping who?
Actually, Yudhishthira Prabhu was trying to help
Madhusudan.
Madhusudan Prabhu.
But then if in the end he said, better this fellow be followed, right?
Yeah. He kept trying, but third time, fourth time, he just said, you might as well rot there now.
Yeah. So who is helping who?
Actually, Madhusudan Prabhu is giving him an opportunity to serve him.
Yes. Now Yudhishthira Prabhu stopped helping Madhusudan, right?
Yes.
That means when Yudhishthira falls down, nobody will help him.
Correct.
That's the reaction. Are we clear? Yeah. In other words, when somebody is fallen, you are given an opportunity to serve the person. But never give up, even if it's 50 times, even if it's 50 lifetimes, you still continue to help. Because if you don't help, the reaction is that when you need help, nobody will be there for you. So Yudhishthira is helping Madhusudan externally, but internally he is continuing to do the service so that he won't fall down. So you help somebody who's fallen so that you will not fall. Thank you very much. Let's chant for them. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. That's how you apply this verse. Appreciate, Rachana, Bhajatama, Nanima. Don't see others as fallen. You should see yourself as being prone to fall. Okay? So now there's few aspects more that the management wants me to be involved in. What are they? Do the announcements?
Put the announcement.
Go ahead.
Hare Krishna. Thank His Holiness Bhakti Maharaj for a wonderful session explaining